The Thunder this year have been one of the best teams in the entire NBA, which is really good and quite surprising when you consider the fact that 3 years ago they were one of the worst teams in the league, and their roster back then was largely made up of just unknown 19 to 22-year-olds. And heading into the year, most people expected them to be like a play-in level team, but they've been a top 3 seed in the West pretty much the whole year. So in today's video, I wanted to come on here and just talk about the success they've had so far this year and answer the question if they are a legit title contender or are they a pretender. So yeah, before this video does get started, please go ahead and hit that like button if you end up enjoying this video, since it really does help out the channel. And of course, subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy content like this, so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one you're watching right now. Plus, I'm trying to hit 2,000 subscribers, and once I do reach my goal, I will do a Q&A. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this video started. Now, I think a great way to start the video off is by talking about the Thunder's best player by far, of course being Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, SGA, there isn't a whole lot to say about him besides the fact that, you know, he's one of the best players in the league, and I think pretty much everyone knows just how good he is. I mean, this year he's been averaging 31 points per game, 6 assists per game, and 6 rebounds per game, and 2 steals per game, which, by the way, he leads the league in steals per game, which is really good, while shooting 55% from the field, 37% from the three-point line, and 87.5% from the charity stripe. But yeah, SGA, again, he's one of the best players in the league. He is easily top 10, and, you know, ever since he's arrived in the NBA, he's just gotten better year after year. So yeah, without SGA, the Thunder, they would not be where they are right now. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been nothing short of amazing this year. Offensively, the guy is really good. He's just absolutely phenomenal as a scorer. He's a good playmaker. He's pretty efficient as a scorer. And defensively, he's also pretty good as well. And I think he definitely could make like an all-defensive team. I mean, SGA, he's just truly amazing. And without him, OKC, they would not be where they are right now. So pretty much all I got to say about him. You also do have Chet Holmgren. And Chet Holmgren, he was the second overall pick, of course, in the 2022 NBA draft, and after missing last year with an injury, he's been nothing short of spectacular in, you know, what's technically his rookie season. I mean, he's averaging 17 points per game, 8 rebounds per game, and 2.5 blocks per game, while shooting 54% from the field and 39% from 3. I mean, Chet, offensively, he can score the ball well, he can stretch the floor, and defensively, he's already one of the best players in the league. Like, he's one of the league leaders in blocks per game. He's really good at protecting the rim, obviously, but he also does have the ability to switch on to smaller and quicker players and, you know, defend them effectively. So Chet Holmgren, yeah, I mean, he's again just been absolutely amazing this year. Now, I don't think he'll win Rookie of the Year simply for the fact that Victor Wembanyama exists, and, you know, Victor Wembanyama has been spectacular this year, and, you know, I think he has been better than Chet. That's not meant to be a slight against Chet Holmgren. It's just that Victor Wembanyama, again, he's just been that good. But while I do think Wemby does win Rookie of the Year, I think Chet Holmgren, I mean, I got no doubt in my mind that he will be the runner-up for that award. So yeah, Chet Holmgren, again, he's been absolutely terrific this year. Then you got the Thunder's third best player, being Jaylen Williams. Jaylen Williams, he finished second in Rookie of the Year voting last season, and he was amazing, obviously, in 2023. There is a reason why he was second in Rookie of the Year voting that year. But yeah, he's continued that level of play, and honestly, he's actually been better than he was in his rookie year. He's been really good in his second season, as this year he's been averaging 19 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game on 54, 44, 82 splits. And he's also a pretty good defender. I mean, Jaylen Williams, I think he's only going to get better from here on out. And I think one day he will be an all-star level player. Like, he really isn't that far off from being an all-star. So, yeah, Jaylen Williams, I really like him a lot. And, again, just a great player on both sides of the court, and just a really good basketball player. Outside of those three guys, though, you do have Lou Dort, who's a really good 3-and-D forward, and he brings a lot of energy. You got Cason Wallace, who you drafted in last year's NBA draft, the 2023 NBA draft, and I think he's had a pretty decent rookie year as a backup guard, and I think he will get better as the years go on. You also do have Isaiah Joe, who he's a pretty good reserve. He can space the floor. Aaron Wiggins, and he's a pretty good 3-and-D forward. And then they did trade for Gordon Hayward at the deadline. Now, he hasn't exactly been lighting the world on fire, and he's not putting up eye-popping stats. But with all of that said, I think he is still a pretty fine role player, and he does bring veteran experience, which is pretty essential to this team when you consider the fact that they're so young. And I will talk more about playoff experience later, but they do also have Josh Giddey as well, but Josh Giddey, I mean, he has not been very good for them this year, and of course, well, he had those allegations of, let's just say, having an illegal and inappropriate relationship, but yeah, man, Josh Giddey, again, he hasn't been very good this year, and, given the fact that, a lot of fans hate him now, and rightfully so, and just given the fact that he just hasn't been very good this year on the court, I don't know, I don't really think he'll be a big part of their future anymore, but, I mean, Josh Giddey, he does still start for them, and he does get significant minutes, so I thought I would touch on him for a few minutes, but, yeah, that's really all I gotta say about the players, but we should give some credit to their head coach being their head coach Mark Daigneault. Okay, I don't know if I said his name right, but yeah, Mark Daigneault. He's been really good this season, and he's been one of the best coaches in the entire NBA. I mean, he's helped turn a young squad into one of the best in the league in just a matter of a few years. So I gotta give a lot of props to him, and I think he will be a serious contender to win Coach of the Year when they do announce the NBA awards. So now I got no doubt in my mind that OKC will finish the year as a top 4 seed in the West at the bare minimum. But with that said, there are two big X factors that will determine how far they make it into the playoffs. Those being, 1, can the young guys rise up to the occasion? And then 2, can the big man depth behind Chet Holmgren, can it just be good? So now that I bring up those two X factors, I did want to answer the question of whether the Thunder are title contenders or are they not title contenders. And while the Thunder are to answer that question, while OKC is super good, and while I definitely think they will win a playoff series at the bare minimum, I'm going to lean to the side and say that they are not title contenders. And I know I know a lot of people will disagree with that statement, and that's completely fine. That really is. I mean, we're all entitled to our own opinion, but the reason why I say they aren't title contenders is, those two X factors. I just don't really trust the big man depth behind Chet Holmgren, because for as good as he is, I mean, let's say one game he does get into foul trouble. I mean, if he does get into foul trouble, OKC can run a smaller lineup, but let's say that smaller lineup starts to have flaws, so they're forced to sub in like a big man that isn't Chet Holmgren. Well, I just don't really, trust the bigs behind Chet Holmgren, as I said before. So yeah, their big man depth behind Chet, it is not very good, and it's something they definitely need to work on in the offseason. And along with that, this team, simply put, they're just really young, and they lack playoff experience. And playoff experience, it matters, because the schemes offensively and defensively are different. The refs are going to allow more physicality. The crowds are bigger and they're louder. And the weaknesses of teams and players, they're going to be exposed more in the playoffs. Plus, it's not uncommon for guys to struggle in their first playoff run. Now, I mean, I can understand it. I'll cut them some slack. But again, it does happen. And I mean, let's face it, that will hinder their chances at winning a title, strictly this year. I mean, Gordon Hayward, he is a pretty good veteran with some playoff experience, and I know Shea and Lou Dort were a part of OKC when they made the playoffs back in the 2019-20 season, but a lot of the key players on this team, they just have not played playoff basketball before, so ultimately, I think those two factors will hold OKC back from winning a title. But I mean, if you are an OKC fan, you should be ecstatic about this team. I mean, they're already extremely good, And they have a really bright future, of course. I mean, I believe they have a lot of cap space this offseason. Plus, this team has, well, a shit ton of draft picks, to say the least. So, I think this team, as they get more experienced, they're going to get better. Plus, I mean, they have off seasons to get better and, just complete the team. So, yeah, again, I don't think OKC is a title contender, but they are a really good team. I think they will win a playoff series this season, and I do think that with time, they eventually will be a title contender. But, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really does mean a lot to me. Again, like, subscribe, do all of that stuff, and then check me out on social media. The links to my Twitter and my Instagram are in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.